The ERASE Act is the bill worked on by the DC Unlock the Box Coalition. And so with the ERASE Act, essentially what it would do would be to end solitary confinement in the district which meets that criteria for torture.
Thoughts accumulate repetitiously inside this steel cage. Unable to use that which is natural, I am suspended in time, yet I still age.
In 1995, after I was apprehended for the crime I committed, my punishment was for me to spend years separated from my friends and family, from my kids and my significant other. The helplessness, the feeling of not being able to help and support your family, missing out on the growth and development of your children, that's the punishment. So everything else in the jails should be geared towards making inmates better, mentally stronger, more prepared and capable to successfully re-enter society.
What we don't have is a mirror to that behavior tech and that home health aid that maybe can work with the mental health agencies inside of the institutions and train people that can be behavior techs for those that's incarcerated.
I was sent to the SHU for 6 or 8 months before I was shipped to another prison. Like from Pennsylvania I was in at the time, which is only 3 or 4 hours away from here, I was getting regular visits to Louisiana, where it was pretty much no more visits after that.
Couldn't get no letters from her. I could see her. So I grew up, angry and really resentful. Had a lot of misplaced anger that I really didn't understand where it came from until she came home. And I was getting triggered a lot. Like her not answering the phone, that would trigger me.
In most instances of solitary confinement, they don't even turn off the light. And this probably doesn't sound very harsh, but just take a second and try to imagine sleeping under a spotlight for months at a time. At one point, I spent 18 months straight in solitary confinement because the prison officials thought I may retaliate against a person who had previously assaulted me. So I was placed on lockdown for 1.5 years. Now this is after being a victim of assault.
Anger, frustration, infantile treatment, innovation, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual depletion.
Imagine instead of being allowed to be consoled by your loved ones or aided by a professional therapist, you're just locked there for an undetermined amount of time, 24 hours a day, being in some type of adverse mental state. So what they do, they tell you that you're under investigation, An investigation can last from 30 to 90 days, is what they'll tell you.
Days perpetuate towards sunset. I logically stimulate by any means necessary that I may never forget.
Now, throughout my narrative, I tried to get you to imagine the mentally dark, lonely, destitute place that solitary confinement is. Now I want you to try to imagine solitary confinement as a place where dignity, respect, safety, and care matters. They say that only 2 things in life are constant, and that's change and change. So let's end this torturous practice of solitary confinement.
Prison has so many bad connotations. I'm just like everybody else. I'm going to prison. I'm thinking violence. I'm thinking negative. I'm thinking everything wrong. It's going to be some bumps in the road. It's going to be some hurdles. It's going to be some challenges. But that's where the sign of your character shows up. So that's when I realized I think I wanted to go the road of construction. I didn't have a high school diploma, so I went on ahead and got my GED. And from that point, it changed the whole trajectory of my life, the way I was going to do my time, the way I was going to perceive my life sentence. In fact, I changed it from a life sentence to a life sentence, meaning I'm going to live.
That healing brings that self-awareness and that, and when you're self-aware, you can kind of like see stuff for yourself, check and correct yourself, right? Which can, again, help you build a healthy relationship.
As thoughts accumulate repetitiously, I fight to remain awake. In this life's perplexity, I covet to forever fall asleep in my steel cage blues.